Rome, 2nd century. The most powerful man in the world awakens before dawn. But his first battle of the day is not against the barbarians on the frontier. It's against the warmth of the blankets. It's against a seductive voice that whispers, "Stay 5 more minutes." What is the hardest battle you fight every day? It is not against your boss, your enemies, or the hardships of the world. The most brutal war, the most grueling, is fought in silence, inside of you. It's the battle that happens in the morning, when one part of you wants to rise and conquer the day, and the other, more seductive, begs for just a little longer. It's the war that erupts in the afternoon, when your duty calls, but the voice of distraction, of immediate pleasure shouts louder. That voice, that invisible enemy, is procrastination. But the ancient Stoic philosophers saw it as something much deeper, not as laziness, but as an insurrection, the rebellion of your lower self against your higher will. If in our last conversation we discovered how anxiety traps us in an imaginary future, today procrastination reveals the tyranny of immediate pleasure. And to fight this war, we don't need more willpower. We need a strategy. Today, we will open the war manual of Marcus Aurelius and learn the Stoic secret to conquering oneself. The enemy that makes you procrastinate is not weak. It is ancient, powerful, and it lives inside of you. It is the part of your brain that has survived for millennia by following a single directive: seek pleasure and avoid pain. It is the voice that says, "Start the diet tomorrow. The pleasure of this chocolate is now." It is the impulse that throws you onto social media because the discomfort of a difficult task is a pain it does not want to feel. It is not evil. It is primitive. It only wants your immediate comfort, even if it costs you your future glory. To procrastinate is not an act of laziness. It is an act of surrender. It is letting the weakest, most primitive part of your mind take control. And to defeat an enemy, the first step is to recognize it, to give that voice a name, to see it not as you, but as an internal saboteur, a traitor within your own walls. Now imagine the most powerful man in the world, an emperor who commands armies and rules over millions. This man, Marcus Aurelius, fought this same war every single morning. In his meditations, he wrote to himself, almost like a general giving orders to a cowardly soldier. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I have to go to work. I'm going to do what I was born for, or was I made for this, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm." The Emperor of Rome had to convince himself to get out of bed. This reveals the fundamental truth of discipline. It is not the absence of weakness, it is the victory over it. Marcus Aurelius was not a superman. He was a strategist, and he used weapons forged by the Stoic philosophers to conquer himself day after day. The first weapon in the Stoic arsenal is clarity. It is the ability to separate the battlefield from that which cannot be fought. The Stoics called this the Dichotomy of Control. The rule is simple. In any situation, separate what is under your control from what is not. You do not control the weather, the economy, the opinions of others. You control only one thing: your own choices and actions. The procrastinator lives in a state of confusion. They are paralyzed by thinking about things they cannot control, like what if I fail? What if it's not perfect? What will others think? They spend all their energy on an imaginary battlefield. The Stoic strategist, on the other hand, focuses all their strength on the only point that matters: the present action. The question is not, will I succeed, but will I make the effort now? The outcome is outside of your control. The effort is not. This is the secret. Discipline begins when you stop fighting the world and start focusing on the only thing you can command: your next action. We often procrastinate out of fear of failure, of discomfort, of judgment. The lower self creates ghosts to keep us in our comfort zone. For this, the Stoics had a second weapon, Premeditatio Malorum, or the Premeditation of Evils. Instead of avoiding fear, you face it head-on. Before a difficult task, ask yourself, what is the worst that truly can happen? If I fail this project, will I die? No. Will I be fired? Perhaps. Will I learn something? Absolutely. By visualizing the worst-case scenario rationally, you realize that the monster your mind created was, most of the time, a shadow. You steal the power from fear. This transforms procrastination from a terrifying paralysis into a calculated choice. The risk becomes manageable. The action becomes possible. Winning the war against procrastination does not mean becoming a productivity machine. It means achieving true freedom. Freedom is not doing what your lower self desires in the moment. That is slavery to impulse. True freedom for the Stoics is the ability to act in accordance with your higher will, with your values, with the person you have chosen to be. Every time you conquer procrastination, you are not just completing a task. You are reinforcing who is in command of your mind. For the Stoic, freedom is the absence of disturbance. But for other philosophers like Nietzsche, true strength lies in loving even what you cannot control. A radical idea we will explore soon. But the first step is always the same: self-mastery. The battle against your lower self never ends. There is no final victory. There will be mornings when Marcus Aurelius within you will have to fight to get out of bed. There will be afternoons when the voice of distraction will sound like a siren's song. The secret of the Stoics is not the promise of an eternal peace. It is the dignity found in the daily struggle. Discipline is not what you do. It is who you become in the process of doing. Every small victory over procrastination is an act of self-definition. It is the affirmation that you, and not your lowest impulses, are the sovereign of your own mind. The war is daily, the choice to fight also, because discipline is not comfort, it is war. And the victory is freedom. If this battle map has resonated with you, know that this is only the first of many strategies we will explore. Here at the Human Codex, our mission is to decipher the wisdom of the ancients to arm ourselves for modern battles. Subscribe now and join our army of minds. And in the comments, tell me, what is the most common excuse your inner enemy uses to make you procrastinate?